What's up, everybody? Hey, happy KOTG Tuesday.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. Zach, your mic's not working.
What's up, Marky Mark?
There, Marky Mark.
I didn't see him.
Hey, man, we got a live chat tonight. Everybody's been ready and waiting for Dave to get on. So, golf
coffee,
course.
Man? Coffee makes me poop.
It's good to have a morning routine.
Oh, if you're not pooping before you walk out the door, there's something wrong.
Let's say you're not wrong. You're wrong on that one.
I like to take the paid shit while I'm on the clock.
There you go.
So shout out to Golf Course Lawn. He's the first one that I saw on there. Tyler Swisher, I think he's new. I haven't seen him. Crazy About Grass. LTZ Lawn Care and Jay, how are you doing?
Drunk long guy said there he is.
Whoop.
Yeah. Said he's here for Dave.
That's right.
Grass Geek smoking Mohawks in here. Nice.
Dave's-
What's up, guys?
Dave's pulling the crowd tonight.
Rooted.
What's
All
going on?
right.
Carl K, previous lawn of the week.
Oh, yeah.
This one of the week winner.
What's up, Carl? Jay Pello's in there too.
He said he had to get
Well,
a
guys, I can't
cut in for the show.
see any of the chat. I see a Zoom group chat on the right side of my screen, but I can't see
That's-
the chat.
That's private.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll tell
You want
you.
to be looking at YouTube.
Well,
It's on
Well-
YouTube. Do you have a second device where you can see YouTube, Dave?
I'm not worried about that right now.
What's up, Tiff
Yeah.
Tuff?
we got him on the computer here, so we're good for now.
I'm good. All I need to do is focus on the faces that are in front of me.
There you go.
We'll,
There you
we'll
go.
give you all
Easy
the
enough.
shout outs from everybody. So
Yeah, we'll let you know what.
I appreciate it.
We'll let you know the questions.
So Kevin Wilson gave out the motto of "Boss makes a dollar, I make a dime. That's why I poop on company time."
I like that. Man.
Yeah.
So what is this?
I work with employees to do that.
What episode are we on now, guys? Is this what is this? 39?
69.
We're on
Almost 39.
69.
We're almost
Almost there.
hit that downhill 40, man.
Yeah.
Hey, watch your tongue with the downhill 40 top, right? It's 50.
50 is the new 40, right?
I'll take it. Let's make it 60.
We lucked out getting Dave set up. He couldn't get his background going, but luckily his living room or wherever he's at is green.
My bedroom.
So he flipped his
One
computer
of
around.
let's
So
call
it's against the
I'm
green
actually in
wall.
the cat litter room. That's where I'm at.
That litter room. It's green, so it worked. His background is
That's
his walls
perfect.
are green, so it all worked out. But yeah,
All
What are
right.
you gonna drink?
well, Olee,
What's
you
up,
want to kick
Olee?
it off?
You ready to go?
Let's do this.
All right, man. So let's all grab a glass.
Well, I've already opened mine, so I'll just tell you, I'm having birch beer. That's gonna be.
I thought
my
we were
drink.
taking a shot.
I have a shot right here.
I got a shot ready to
Get your
roll.
shot glass.
Tennessee. Who's
I
ready?
rolled a
Listen,
grenade.
you need to announce your shot. This is what I
Pharm
like.
Dad's got a big bush.
This is what I like the guys in the chat. to do.
Oh, Vizzy?
The
You
guys
like
in the
that Vizzy
chat are
part?
doing shots. Type in what you're drinking for your shot. I want to know what I won't see it, but you guys will. What everybody in the chat world is doing for a shot. They better be fucking doing.
Yeah, I'd be
a shot.
curious to know what's everybody drinking tonight? Throw it down in the chat. Let's see.
So I came
2%.
home and
Jason.
my wife had bought some eggnog, so I guess it's non-alcoholic eggnog. But is that too soon?
Negative.
Mid-October. Too
Bro,
soon?
eggnog?
All right.
We haven't even got into Halloween yet, and you're drinking Christmas.
Halloween's not a real holiday. It's all right. I'm with you, Brian.
Hey, it snowed.
I'm down
It
with the
snowed
eggnog
here.
situation. I like
So,
that.
Yeah, it's snowing.
I figured since it's snowing here in Utah,
Brent, what
I
is
might as well
that
drink
sexy
eggnog.
bottle on your table right there? What is that you're showing off?
This is the Whistle Pig rye. This is the 10-year-old Whistle Pig.
Drink water.
Good stuff.
Whistle-
All right.
Grab a glass. Keep off the grass.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right,
Keep off the
the grass.
Who just made that noise? Is that Olee?
Yeah, I said
Oh,
grab a
just make
glass,
that-
keep off the grass. Let's go.
No, the pop. Somebody just made a popping noise. What was that?
Mm-mm.
No.
I think it was ice rattling around or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
There you go. That's Brent's ice.
Yeah, might have been that.
We got the Dave Bilecki joining us tonight. If you don't know who he is, follow him on Instagram. You'll crack up at his stories. You may see him playing with his cat. You may be seeing him at the golf course. You know, you don't know what you're gonna get. You may see a dead animal, dude. Honestly, man, I see a lot of dead animals on your stories.
That's true. This is a good point. He does have that. But also, in addition to being entertained, you will learn. You will learn something.
That's
from Dave Bilecki.
yes.
So,
Yes, he
Dave,
will.
why is that? Can you tell us a little bit? Anybody that doesn't know you, obviously, we all know you. We've interacted with you for a little while, but can you tell everybody kind of like what your background is, what you do for a living, and why we felt it was great to have you on, other than the fact that we love you?
Man. I don't know why it does the green thing here, so you just have to might move too fast. But long story short, I fell in love with golf at 16. Knew I was never going to be good enough to be on any golf tour, but knew I had to be on a golf course every day. So that just led me to a state school called SUNY Delhi, where I did a 2-year program. And while I was there, I took a class in public speaking, and that was the only A I got in college, was in public speaking. So was a student ambassador there, and I'd give people tours. I'm just very easy for me to speak in front of a lot of people. It just, I get nervous like everybody else, but for the most part, it's a piece of cake, right? So I never really wanted to be a teacher. Couldn't do that, but I love teaching people. People who work on my crew, I love teaching them new things, what we do on the course. Whether it's my lawn, talking to people that are walking by, walking their dogs or their kids. Hey, what are you doing on your grass? I'll sit there and talk to them for 5 minutes and answer any questions about what it is that I do. So I don't grow. I grow some grass, but mainly it's just managing a golf course, making sure that the property looks the best that it can look every day. Whether that's mowing fairways, greens, tees, rough, dragging fairways, whatever the case is, it's making that piece of property look the best that it can be every day. So take as much pride with that as you do as a lot of us, we put more emphasis on our front yard than we do our backyard. That's what everybody sees. So, put a lot of passion into it. It shows, right? I mean, look at Olee. I mean, the lengths that he goes to get that yard to looking pristine. It's just amazing. I love it. I love watching the transformation there. I can't wait to see when he starts putting that chainsaw to those rocks. That's just going to be.
Yeah, that thing. You're talking about lawn
man.
tools and
Yeah.
toys.
Speaking of,
I got it. Yeah,
Oh,
that is a
Ooh.
badass machine.
How much
What?
did that cost you, Olee? Was that about $1,000 or less?
3.
3,000.
The
You got
chain.
$3K on that?
The chain on it's about 900 for the chain.
$900.
Diamond, the diamonds.
diamond.
Real diamonds.
And I have to ask you, at what point
It's like
did you
men's diamond.
come to the conclusion that was really the that was the best option for you, was to do that? I mean, you had done the drilling the holes with the epoxy, and you'd done, the water saw. We saw you just kill yourself on those efforts. What is it about this thing that's going to make this be the ticket?
Well, I don't know if this is a ticket or not. It's just something I wanted to try. And I have not poured the epoxy in the holes yet. And
Not yet.
Because I haven't done that yet. And I have the epoxy. But one rock is somewhat under the ground, and we had beat on it with a big hammer. I mean, a machine was brought in here on a low boy. So, I mean, it was no toy. It was a big track hoe with a hammer on it. And the pink granite's so hard that the hammer just turned red. The rock wouldn't go away. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut probably every 8 to 10 inches, and then I'll drive a wedge in between there and this brake chunks out on that particular rock. Now the other one, I'm going to finish drilling holes at a 45 and fill it up with that epoxy and just pop the top off of it. I'm just trying to at least get at least like 20 inches or so for good root development. You know, where before it had like 2 or 3, and as long as it rained, it looked great. As soon as it got hot and dry, you know, spots died.
How many carats is that on that?
I couldn't tell you.
At least
couldn't tell you.
$900 worth, right?
That's not necessarily ring quality. That's a different kind of quality, isn't it? I'm not familiar with that at all.
Pretty good ring though.
It's not very pretty.
Hey,
it's not very shiny.
it's something I told you too, Olee. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but the turf nerd said you should use dynamite.
Yeah,
just blow that up.
You gotta get a permit, don't you?
I looked into the dynamite. It's $5,000 for a permit. Starting off. Then on top of that, it's labor. Dynamite, it's expensive. But then my biggest concern is I've got foundation. I got a big foundation where that retaining wall I built, and I just don't want to fool with the dynamite.
Don't want to rattle that up.
No.
Well, and I would imagine you probably can't do it yourself. You have to hire that out, correct?
The dynamite part?
Oh yeah.
No, they'd probably put me in jail if I tried to do it myself.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you got to get a permit to blast, but then you have to have a crew to blast too.
I just want to see.
I need to get a lot of
wall.
#free Olee shirts for that.
Yeah. If you haven't picked up your #free Olee shirt, please
Gotta pull that up.
KOTG.com.live.
Well, listen, I don't want to go too much more into the rock with Olee. I really just want to get to the point that is guys who take so much pride in their grass, we're willing to spend just about any amount of money to make that piece of turf look as good as it can be, right? I mean, I'm thousands of dollars in debt. I mean, my lawnmower costs almost $3,200, right? Implements are $800 a piece now. So we're willing to go to any length to get that piece of property to look as good as it can. So it's like a really expensive hobby, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At any rate, I just wanted to say that Vince from Lawngenuity always wore these really nice shirts when he came on.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to wear this nice shirt for him tonight. Just
Christmas.
In memory of Vince.
I'm more interested on what's underneath, personally.
Sure.
Knew it.
Dad.
That's
Awesome.
it.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. My awesome girlfriend Elizabeth made that for me. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, that's
Oh, hey
awesome.
Pete, hey, listen, my boss Pete's watching right now. Hey Pete.
Oh, hey Pete.
Hey Pete.
Thanks
on there,
for watching,
boss.
Pete. Thanks for staying up, buddy.
Is he the soup?
He's a soup.
So I want to hear more about Olee's toys that I can't afford. Some of the things he's working with. Tell us a little bit about one of your stuff. Do you have any pictures you can pull up, Zach?
So,
or
yeah,
anything that-
this is something that I've been wanting him to see use, and I have not seen it yet. Maybe he's posted something about it, but man, I want to see this thing in some action.
I have used it. I used it to spray the last round of bifin. And I started at 8 o'clock walking the 3 acres,
How many gallons is it?
200 gallons.
Whew.
And with
When you put that
you-
thing in.
I set it on the back of my flatbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but anyway, when I got
how
done,
long
it
is your
was-
hose?
Huh?
How long is your hose?
Oh,
400
Jesus
foot.
Christ. You had to go there, didn't you?
At least he
It's
said
not
how
about
long
the
your hose,
length,
not
it's
how long
about
is
the
your hog.
girth. It's about the girth.
What's the
There's no
PSI?
girth to that one, Dave. It's only 3/8.
Diameter of the hose.
It's actually half inch. It's half
Atta
inch.
boy.
Half inch. There you
So no girth there.
go. All right. So 200 gallons. You start at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, at night.
Oh, at night. Okay.
Yeah. I think I put it in my story, but started at 8 o'clock. By the time I was done, it was about 11:30. And the last little bit that I was spraying, I was walking right with a skunk. So
Nice.
it was really interesting. But
So
by the
you-
time I got done, I was beat. And then what was really sucked is I didn't have it's got electric reel on it. I didn't have it wired up because it was a spur of the moment to use that. And so I had to roll all that 400 foot up my
Yeah,
hand.
roll it up. Oh
God
man.
dang. My shoulders are about to fall off.
So Olee, you extend the hose and you just spray handle that. And you just do this on the whole thing. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So you just
All right,
walk
fuck
steady
that.
and
No. Go listen. If you're going to spend $3,000 on a chainsaw, go get yourself a spray hawk. All right, invest in a spray hawk. If you're willing to walk your property to do that, invest in a spray hawk. All the top golf courses in America are using them on their greens and tees. All the courses out west use them on their tees because they're little tiny postage stamps. So they have their sprayer, which has 200 gallons or whatever this sprayer is, and then they have the hose reel that comes out. We usually have two guys, and they're both dressed in their Tyvek suits. And one guy handles the hose,
Does he?
and then
now?
the other
His name
guy
ain't David, is it?
actually operates the
Okay.
piece of equipment,
let
right?
that
So
go?
it's a trigger and it's on wheels. And yeah, that is
but
optimally at 137,000 square feet. You should have a ride-on you should have a little ride-on tractor thing that you're doing, right? So yeah, I feel for you.
On a spray hog? Is that what you're talking about?
A spray hawk. That's correct. A spray
now
hawk.
I know what you talk about. That deal's neat because it keeps the same.
No, that's not it.
No, that's my ride on.
So he does now.
That would take you 2 days till Tuesday to do that. No.
How wide is a spray hawk? How much would it
Usually,
cover?
maybe 4 feet.
But now that is perfect on some low cut turf as far as rolling. But when you're got tall fescue that's between 3.5 and 4 inches tall, I don't know how good that thing would roll.
So, again, before we went on air, I spoke to you about how I like to, if there's a particular, like today I changed up our drag and our blow system, right? So we usually just drag a fairway, but I decided to actually put the drag mat attached to the back of the blower. So I'm blowing and I'm dragging at the same
That's
time.
kind of
So
good.
in my mind, I'm killing two birds with one stone, right? So Olee, so you look into your spray hawk and whatever the wheels are, they're meant for short grass, but you can definitely put wheelbarrow type tires on it, more, larger, tires on something like that to make it easier to push through the tall fescue.
Yeah.
There's always a way, man. Jesus,
Yeah.
there's
So there's
always
there's always a way to do something. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what's
You know,
your
and
favorite? What's your favorite
What?
toy, Olee? If you had out of everything that you own, what's your most favorite one? Free Olee shirt. Hashtag free Olee.
That's
Here.
a good question.
Let me,
I know.
let me talk
I've
about-
seen your stories, and you're on your red tractor and stuff like that. And
Yeah, let me talk about this big vibrator right here.
there
There
you
it
go.
is.
Yeah, that's one of the most awesomest inventions of all time.
Yes, sir.
So that's obviously done by weight, or is it driven? Like,
Runs
is
off
it?
your P. It doesn't run off for PTO,
right.
Yeah. What that system there does is it's phenomenal for dry, compacted ground because what it does is it's got solid tines. It's PTO driven and it fractures. So as they roll as you're pulling it and they shake and it just fractures everything. And it works different. Like if you're going to seed with this, and this is what I hope to seed with in a couple of days if the weather holds out, because if the ground's wet, it's not that ideal. It sort of packs. It doesn't fracture if the ground's wet. But you put your grass seed down first, your fertilizer down first, and then this goes along and shakes it, breaks it, and everything falls down, to get your
Interesting.
yeah. It works different than like if you were going to core plug, you'd core plug first and then seed on top. But this thing here would about bust concrete. I mean, it's pretty wicked. I got a couple videos. I need to post some more.
What is it called?
Now they have this.
Aera-vator.
Okay.
We have a machine called a Ventrac, and it's one of the most amazing, versatile pieces of equipment on the market today. There's legitimately 10 to 12 to 15 different implements you can put on this thing. And one of them is that which he just showed, but it runs through the machine. So it actually vibrates and it's awesome. And he wasn't joking about going through concrete. I mean, the guys on from the Jingweeds, They have one of those and they run off their PTO and they use it on their fairways, and they said their fairways are like concrete. It just works wonders out there.
Awesome.
Would that replace core aerating, or do you still do that too, Olee? Like, or is that, or this vibrator thing, do you use it more than once or twice a year? Do you use it frequently?
I don't know. Some people.
People use it every night.
It depends on the moisture in the soil.
Yep.
You know, if it is, like I say, if it's dry, this thing is phenomenal. It don't care. It's going to, I'm going to give it to you. It's going to penetrate. There you go. And it's going to rock and roll.
Penetration.
Now we're talking.
You get
Now we're rolling.
Multiple.
It's getting a little loosened up for the fight. All right, there we go.
But anyway, this thing works phenomenal for dry ground. Now, you know, the first year I had just a core plugger. It was dry as crap. And this thing would have been phenomenal had the first year. So I went and bought the aera-vator the second year. Well, then it rained. So then I went back to the core plugger because it works better in the softer ground, pulling a plug. Like, this thing is not ideal when the ground's wet. It does more damage when it's wet because it's shaking.
They usually
just
do.
sort of packs.
What about Pharm Dad? What do you like, Bill? What's your favorite piece of what's your favorite toy?
So, you know, I'm not, obviously the things that I use are pretty basic, but
Doesn't matter if they're basic, man. You have a favorite toy.
I love edging the lawn and the sidewalks and stuff, and I find it awesome to have the little edger attachment that goes on the end of my weed eater. That's probably my favorite one. I think it just looks super cool, just getting those little blades off, and it helps you stand out from the rest of the neighbors, you know. So that, you know, obviously you got to have a mower, but you know, I love my edger.
You're good at using that too, man. You get those, you line that up perfect, man. You got some nice clean edges.
Always.
And every now and then I'll hit my phone with it, but you know, not anymore.
Yeah, there was that one time, right? We'll have to get a new phone.
I do want to bounce it to Mark, and I want to know about your reel mower. I know you got your first reel mower this year, and you know, what's your thoughts on it after a year of use?
Yeah, it was definitely a different experience. I thought, like, talking about toys, that would be like the only toy, so to speak, that I have. I mean, I have a couple mowers, but I have no cool equipment or anything like Olee does. Maybe
no one has
day,
a reel mower on the cast, so I mean,
yeah.
Well,
I felt like the hardest thing for me, honestly, was like, you know, you get busy with work and life, and when you're reel mowing, and I'm sure anybody can relate to that, it does, especially up here, you know, during some of the higher growth seasons, like, you got to stay on top of that. It's so easy to get behind. And then I ended up, you know, having to break out my Time Master just to like keep up with it. So there were definitely some weeks where I think I overestimated just like how much of a commitment was going to be to, you know, because I usually cut my grass like about 3.5 inches. I keep it a little bit more Mr. Lush Lawn than some others do. But yeah, it was fun. I really liked playing around with the different cartridges, like the Scarifier, and I particularly like the Verticutter cartridges.
So do you have all the cartridges?
I do, yeah. So I've got the brush attachment, the Verticutter, and the Scarifier. And I've used all of them. I really like the Verticutter. For me right now, I think project-wise, in order to keep reel mowing, is I got to do some heavy top dressing with some masonry sand or something this spring, because I just came out of this last winter with just like tons of, Dave's shaking his head no. I got some really, really bad leveling issues, and the shorter it goes, obviously the harder it is on a reel mower.
All right, so let's see why Dave doesn't like the masonry sand. I'm curious.
You know, I heard your comments on somebody's page. I heard you chirping at somebody about using that sand.
When it seals up, it seals the surface. It seals up. It's mason. When you think of mason, you think of concrete. You think of wanting to really bind and hold together. You don't want your sand application to bind and hold together on your surface or in there. You don't want it to, you know, you want it to just kind of spread out, so it just dissipates and it just breaks down and goes in. It doesn't hold together. So in my opinion, the things that I've heard in my career, Mason sand is a no-go when applied to turf grass. You want to go, you want to find either a top dressing sand, or you can even use sandbox sand, works just fine. But you really should stay away from the Mason sand. It's not good. We have a green, and we have our 11th green is made out of Mason sand. And it when we cut the plugs out, it just stinks to all shit. And it's just not good. Looks bad, not good. And then some of the tee boxes, 13 tee boxes, they use Mason sand mixed in with large stones and pebbles. Garbage. And it's not good at all. So I would advise against it. I think people choose it because of the cost and it's cheap.
Is it a coarser grain sand, or what makes it? What is the difference? I'm not familiar.
It's finer type of sand, so it's gonna bind shit up. So I would advise everybody.
It's finer.
Yeah, stay right away from it. And I think I heard this at one time, that there was a golf course that was going to renovate their greens, and this was a top 50 or 60 golf course. They were going to renovate their greens, like totally rip them apart. They decided to start putting Mason sand on them to get them to really roll like concrete. And so they knew that that's not good. They knew they were going to rip them up anyway. So let's just see what it does. And so I mean, if you want to, by all means, go ahead. But I would advise against it.
We got.
No, I mean, that's great information, man. That's why we love having people like you on the show, because as we say at the beginning of most of our episodes, none of us are experts. I mean, we definitely aren't. So
I'm not either, man.
That's great information.
So
we
we
got,
Alan Carter from Tuckahoe Turf said bar sand. So I mean, I don't know how much people can find that like bar sand. Yeah, like sandbar sand.
Bar sand, yeah. Sandbar. I don't know.
That's what they use at the farm over there. This is what.
No, I mean, I think every one of us lives within 40 or 50 miles of a landscape place that sells, compost or top dress or any of that stuff. So you call them and say, "You guys got sand?" No. Where can I get it? Call a golf course. Where do you guys get your top dressing sand from? And they'll tell you. And then you call that company and say, "Listen, I this is my square foot. This is what I want to do. How much is it going to cost to get it delivered?"
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the route you go. So if you don't know, you call a local superintendent and they'll give you the information.
Nice.
And if they don't, then they're jerks.
Sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going to say?
No, that was it. I had seen Alan Carter say that, so I was just going to put in that he said that.
Gotcha.
So for me, my toy, only thing that that goes on 2,500 square foot is my lawnmower, and I have my gas powered weed eater trimmer. For the longest, I have a steel 91
Sweet.
FRFSF, something like that.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because I went out in the garage before I came out and I took notes on what every piece of equipment's name was, right? And so my trimmer is an F556 RC. It's a basic straight shaft steel trimmer. It rips out of whatever I needed to do in my yard. I don't need a curved one of those ergonomic things. No, listen, if you want to steel, they don't pay me to say that. It's just. They make quality product. And if you want a chainsaw, Husqvarna or Steel, they're the two of the best.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a
earlier this year. I ordered a Darwin grip and it finally came. So I'm excited to put that on the weed eater. It took months. They were sold out, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's shipped. And I was like, hell yeah. So I'm excited to try that. I've always wanted to see.
What is it again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Explain what that is, Bill.
Oh, so it's like an aftermarket kind of handlebar, which you can change the position of your hands, so it's like easier on your back when you're weed eating, or brush cutting, whatever, because I'm lazy like that. So
yeah,
I've heard good things. So I bought one, and haven't used it yet, but I'm excited to bust it out when I do.
Yeah,
it's like monkey bars for your weed eater.
Yeah, there you go.
The Darwin grip kind of helps you from bending over so much. So
tape hangers. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had this little electric, plugged in corded trimmer for the longest time, and I got annoyed with it. So I found a bunch of. I actually ended up going and getting like 5 gas powered weed trimmers over the summer. People were selling them on Marketplace and stuff like that. So I'd kind of rebuild them, and I've given one to like a brother-in-law and to some other people that didn't have one.
That's
But
cool.
I kept the steel one, and I kept an Echo one for myself. So
Nice.
yeah, and I do the edging with the string. I don't have an actual edging attachment. I just flip it upside down, sideways, and trim up the edges that way, and it seems to work for me.
Yeah,
That's
what
where
I-
my sheep shears come in. I found that my sheep shears work the best for my edges on my hair.
You know what's
Um,
underrated? And Brent, I've seen you using this. I think it's just a flat manual edger. Step on it, edge it.
yeah, man.
I
Yeah, I do
that's
that for my
honestly- that's
beds
my
every
go-to if
every
I get it
spring.
overgrown.
Spade, like a shovel, like a spade.
Kinda.
Yeah, like that old
Yeah.
school, just kind of half moon.
Yeah, flat.
Old school edger that,
Let's see
like,
if I
you
got
know,
a picture of it.
my dad was probably using in his folks' yard in the 50s, like one of those.
You know
One of
what's a
those-
really, you know what is
Step
a
on it.
really good, I saw one of these years ago down at, when I worked down at Bethesda Country Club. And it's made for cutting sod with your feet. So it, the handle, it's kind of curved. And when you said half moon, it instantly came to mind. Is there, do you have a different,
I
do you have a
don't.
different angle of what that looks like?
I don't have a different
Hey,
angle. of
you
my
got the
shaft.
picture I sent you, like where I
It
had
looks
the
like
wheelbarrow?
it's like half a pizza. It's like a
Here, yeah,
flat,
what Olee, what you got?
you know.
I had one in the picture when I sent you the wheelbarrow that
This
had a
looks like
little
like a half
20-volt leaf
Mm.
blower.
Yeah.
And
got that.
I use that. I use that to cut out the edges of my beds every spring, just
Yeah.
to get that
Freshen them
hard
up.
drop off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because over the winter time, you know, with, you know, I guess like frost heat or whatever you want to call it, but either way, and you know, through the summer too, just with water runoff and things, that edge doesn't look as crisp. So every spring I go through and I chop it down, flick it back up into the beds, and you know, get that
fresh
nice
mulch
drop
down.
off. Yeah, just get that nice drop off so that it can, you know, hold the mulch. But I mean, in terms of like general edging, like day to day, I just use my string trimmer and just run through the edges.
So you only have
Which
to
I don't
redo the
have as
edge
much to
once.
do because I don't have a sidewalk in front of my house. Like my house just goes straight out to the street. And for whatever reason, whenever they built my neighborhood, nobody has, like, half the houses, you know, like my half of the street does not have concrete curbs, and the other half of the street, you know, like to the north of me does. So it's kind of bizarre, but I have like railroad ties in front of my house, and you know, I'm not gonna care. Like, it doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna pay to get it redone.
Right.
I don't really care. It does, you know, I guess it would probably look a little cleaner if it was a concrete curb, but I like the fact that I don't have sidewalks. So I don't have that parkway devil strip, whatever you guys want to call it. I don't have to hassle with that. You know, I just get that extra square
Street
footage.
strip.
Right off the bat in
Damn,
the
look,
front.
Olee just has it on deck.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, right there. There you go.
Ooh, there
On
it
deck.
is.
Doing
Yeah.
some in my back door.
About to
Yeah,
dig a grave right
Yeah,
now.
buddy. That's a fucking door right there.
Yeah, that's what I use.
This one
that all
here is
the
a
time.
beast, though.
Mhm.
This
So
is
you
a-
only have to do that once a year to redo the edge print.
I mean, I usually go through it in the spring and like really get just a hard drop off into my flower beds across the front of the house. And then, you know, maybe another time a year, but
Can't read it. What does it say? What's the
read
name
that?
say, Olee? Can't read it.
Long
Robert?
shaft.
I got it at Site One, and this thing is all steel, welded. I mean, it is
Jeez.
a beast. It's no joke. Like, you know, some of those you get, if you don't cut pretty good before you pull back, you'll break them off.
Mm.
This thing is beefy.
You have to sharpen it.
Yeah, every once in a
You
while
can kill
sharpen
somebody with that thing. You used to use that back in the medieval times.
clean blade, mustard on them biscuits.
So, hey, Olee, somebody in the chat was asking if anybody had those power rotary scissors, and I know you do, so that could be one of your favorite toys.
It's
I
very
know
neat.
You love to get out there in your flip flops and not have
Shorts.
anything flip up on you.
Yep, shorts. Yes, sir. because if you weed eat in shorts with normal string, you're going to be wearing it unless you use the wrong side of the, depending on which way you use it. If you use it where it slings away from you, it's not as bad, but you can't control it as good. But those scissors are something else.
But I heard they're really loud.
They are loud. They're loud.
Definitely.
You can go get that too. You want me to? I don't think my wife would appreciate it if I brought that down.
Yeah. I'm sure maybe.
Zach, I just wanted to say that when you posted that picture, whether it was today or yesterday, about the fact that you're still using your father's lawnmower back from the mid-70s,
that was cool.
That is some really, really awesome, man. I was just like, are you kidding me? That's great. That's great stuff.
From 1989, actually.
89. Look at that.
And so he actually received this as a gift from his father, bought brand new for my parents' wedding anniversary.
Oh, cool.
And my parents live on 7 acres. He probably mows, it's 4.5 acres of it. And he used this for 25 years. And then he upgraded to a badass Skag.
Nice.
And so then I got this, and I mean, all the stripes, any stripes you see on my page is from this.
That's awesome.
So my dad, like, I'm not going to take credit for taking care of it. My dad is a pretty good mechanic. That's what he does for a living.
Are you in there picking his butt? It was sitting right next to him when he's out there working on it, or are you out doing something else?
I mean, like, getting that deck off is a bitch, and you can't just throw it up on some lift. I mean, it's heavy. It's a heavy MFer.
It's the way these things used to be made, man. Solid.
You got to take that deck off, and you got to just like keep moving it around until you get it through them wheels, and you take it off, and then there's like 20 grease points, and a lot of lube.
So you have to take it off to do that.
Wait.
Yeah.
A lot of what?
A lot of lube.
He's got to lube his dick.
Boy.
Yep.
Got to lube his dick.
And I did get a good comment from, I think, Warrior Lawn.
Full 60.
He was talking about, so I was showing the motor off. It's a Kohler Magnum. And he was saying you need a Magnum for a 60-inch deck. So, I thought that was pretty good.
So how often do you maintain it? So, like, is this once a year you have to take the deck off?
This year I did it twice. So I did it, in the winter last year, sharpened it, took it off, greased it all up. I took it off a couple months ago, and we lubed it up, sharpened it. But actually, like, I was surprised on how. So it has 3 blades, and I was surprised on how it really didn't need sharpened that much. I probably could have went the rest of the year. It was, but yeah. So we sharpened them up. It's got 3 blades. Middle blade spins counterclockwise. Get some good suction. It's pretty.
Wait a minute. So your center blade rotates counterclockwise, and your outside blades rotate clockwise.
Yep. So and then they got a back rolling system right under it. So sucks the blades up, so I can just restart it wherever they're laying all, mangled. Sucks them up, and I just roll it how I want it. So.
Now,
Simplicity was the first people to have a stripe kit.
You have options when it comes to the blades that you can put on it, because you have mulching blade options, or you just doing a straight blade cut.
I got high lift blades on it.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
The back of the blades got more curl to pull up the grass blades.
Suction for help.
And so, like, if you see like people mowing, sometimes I'll see them and like they'll have nice stripes, but like, I mean, the grass looks like it's like going all fucking kinds of different ways. But I mean, like, so that's why, like, if you have good suction, I mean, that's sucking that up, getting it straight up, and then boom, you're just hitting it right over flat.
Man, Zach, you got good suction, 60-inch deck, keep it lubed up, man. Hell on him.
That's the mower,
I wonder,
right?
like, I have a
glowing. That lawn should be glowing with happiness at that point, right?
I've been keeping it on it because it's so heavy. It's heavy, like,
so keep on it, though.
I've been keeping it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
I wonder how the Toro Super Recycler or the Time Master compares to the one that I have. That's the only one that I've used, and it does okay. But like you're saying, Zach, I think it doesn't pull up as much as I would like. So even though you're making stripes with the stripe kit or whatever on the back, you still have blades facing different directions. You don't have as much suction. I wonder if there's much of a difference with the Time Master or a Super Recycler, but I
I
have
don't
yet
know.
to
Maybe
use
you'll
one.
get to find out soon enough. Wink, wink.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Toro,
Toro.
Please.
are you
If I was
listening?
Toro, I'd send you whatever you wanted, man.
Yeah.
Send you whatever you want.
Oh,
Creep off the grass live cast could be could all be Toro guys. I mean, no.
it's true.
I'm not beholden to the Honda, I like it. But I'd probably like a Time Master more from what I understand about the machines.
I'm trying to convince my wife to let us get a bigger yard so that I can have an excuse to get a wider deck.
Mm,
More than just my little 21 inches.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm
Maybe.
gonna give real quick before we move on. Jamie, the accountant, came up with the full 60. So,
Yeah.
Nice.
Anybody hears hashtag full 60, Jamie created it. I'm just gonna say.
The best part about the live chat
That
is,
so funny.
best part about the live chat. It's part of the show. It's part of the show. Well, hey, I mean, we could talk about this forever. We'll probably have to do a reboot of this episode, especially over the winter time. That'd be a good topic.
Oh,
but
man.
we have lawn of the week that we got to address.
Ooh, we do.
We have lawn of the week that we got to address. So, Zach, you ready to pull up some photographs?
I don't know who we got this week.
Well,
Mm,
first of all, let's give credit where credit is due. Keep Off the Grass live cast lawn of the week is every week. If you're new to the show, every week we're looking across Instagram. Anybody who hashtags KOTG lawn of the week in a post or a reel. So one of those two, we're all following that hashtag. You should be as well, because that's where you're going to find some of the most badass lawns on Instagram. Everybody's hashtagging the crap out of that every week. And it always makes for a difficult decision for us in terms of choosing a winner. And we kind of pawned it off on a couple other people over, a couple weeks ago, because it was a little too hard for us to decide. But the Keep Off the Grass live cast lawn of the week is sponsored by Pro Pete Fertilizers. So if you win the Keep Off the Grass lawn of the week, you get your choice of a free bag of Pro Pete fertilizer, your choice of NPK, which you could find on homedepot.com, or some Pro Pete swag if you happen to live too far away, or maybe you got an enormous lawn that one bag of fertilizer is not going to do much for you. But
Olee, where you get that Pro Pete from?
You can find it on
Winfield United
homedepot.com.
Pro.
What is it?
Winfield United Pro.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually got it where you can buy 4 bags of 50 pounders, and that's the least that you can buy in 50 pounders and get free freight.
Wow.
Now, they do have the 25 pounders, and they're $35 a bag with only $5 shipping.
Mm-hmm.
But if you buy $50 more, it's free shipping. So,
Phew.
and with
That's
that
the place.
Winfield Pro, they've also, you can mix and match your NPKs. You can, as long as you keep the same grade. Like if you want greens grade, everything has to be greens grade, but you can get, 1704, 1358, 7414, whatever you want, or you can get it all in, fairway grade. But they'll work with you, mix and match. He then went and got the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Dave's petting his pussy.
All right.
Well, without further ado,
Who is the lawn of the week?
Yeah.
The lawn of the
I don't
week.
know. I
There
accidentally teased it.
The lawn of the
Premature.
week this week goes to
Somebody's obviously
yard
obsessed with
underscore
their
obsession.
yard.
Yard obsession
Yard
Nice.
obsession
on Instagram. Mr. Rhett Gar.
Looking good, double wide.
Man. Ooh. Congratulations and well done. Look at this thing. I love it.
He's got some nice curb appeal. Like the yard itself is pretty fire.
I like the
not just the
plaid.
grass.
The plaid look on the bottom right
Yeah.
one looks pretty awesome.
And I'd call that double diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
It's double D's.
Looked like little windows in his lawn.
So I got a question. Go through with a blower and get rid of those lines in the middle, you think? Think a blower would get rid of the tire lines?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good point.
Because
But
I
would-
see it all the
Like
time, right?
blow in
the
the
lawn
direction.
is mint, right? I mean, there's just
That's just part of tall turf, Dave.
You can call me
That's
David. That's fine.
A really long parkway.
But would you have
It
would you
is,
get more
it's wide.
footprints doing that, walking over it again?
I think
No.
you'd mess up your stripes because you would have to blow that back up
Oh,
to
yeah.
get rid of the stripe, and then you'd tire from you'd lose your stripe.
It's something I think that you would just have to live with, right?
You just get a wider mower. You get the full 60.
Mm.
I see that Mosuri, he mows to the side. Like he's mowing
Yeah.
with a mower like
He
this,
does, yeah.
Yeah.
pushing.
I see that. Why does he do that? That is the
Footprint.
weirdest
He
thing.
doesn't
I've
want the
never-
He mows
footprints.
over the
He doesn't want the
footprints.
footprints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's cool
Footprints.
though. Honestly, like if your lawn is that thick and tall and you got some footprints, that's awesome. I'm all for the footprints. It is what it is.
You know what?
Just like
I've
your
never
kid-
seen anybody use a hover mower on any of their. Nobody's using a hover mower. Not one person out there uses.
I think they're
Anybody
pretty.
know what a hover mower is?
They still
Yeah.
have
Is
those?
that the one where you
Oh, yeah.
stand on the back?
It's good for like
Yeah,
hills
there-
and stuff.
it's like a square plastic, square piece of plastic.
Like a
with,
hoverboard.
Plastic blades on the underside with an engine on top, and it's got like a lawnmower handle, and you just kind of sway it back and forth, and it hovers above your turf, just kind of cuts it, right? You'll see golf courses use them on bunker banks in the banks where they can't get the heavy equipment on, so they use fly mowers or hover mowers or whatever you want to call them. When I was down in Bethesda, we would put them on rope because the bunker bases were 12 feet to 15 feet. So you couldn't actually stand on the slope. You'd have to put the rope on it. Oh, it's a pain in the ass. But the lengths you go to, again,
Yeah.
improvising, right?
Sure. That's funny. Crazy.
So hey,
But
Brent,
I've seen those, like-
you get no lines. That thing is awesome. I love those. I have one of those.
Yeah, buddy.
son Joe D. Thatcher.
I've said it before, man.
Serious damage with one of those things.
Yo, that sucker is that's the best $140 I ever spent on my yard. I've said it before and I'll say it till I'm done because
Now I have the Greenworks on that. So tell me where on the Greenworks.
That's what I have.
The adjustment is on the wheel. What about on this piece of equipment here? Where's the height adjustment on this one?
It's the same. It's on the wheel. It's just that front lever that you see in the picture right there. So you just
yeah, okay, I see. I blended in
yeah,
before.
you
I
just
didn't
kind of
see- I
like
see.
push it towards the machine and then you can lower it and raise it. Now the Greenworks, does that come with two different cartridges or it only comes with the dethatcher?
No,
It
just
came-
the
it
one.
Came with the one with me. Came with a bag of extra metal teeth and a couple other pieces of
Yeah,
crap. But
yeah.
for the most part, I mean, that thing is a beast. Like I have to walk fast to keep up with it. It wants to like.
Yeah.
I gotta
Oh yeah, it wants
Right,
to
goddamn
move.
thing.
And for an
Love it.
electric,
I wish it had the scare fire like the Sunjoe does. When you were talking about that earlier, I was like, I didn't know that you could get that, and I wish I had known because I would have bought the Sunjoe if I knew it had that option. Because every time you talk about it, I'm like, gosh, I wish I could do that with mine.
What do you have?
I would
Which
use
one do
that
you
a
have,
lot
Bill?
more. I have the Greenworks. It doesn't have it just has the little metal tines. It doesn't have the little flat blades
yeah.
or whatever.
And
more like
that's
the
that's the
verticutting
good thing
option,
about
so
this
that
one is
it doesn't.
Yeah.
So the Sunjoe here, you can. I'm not familiar with the Sunjoe. I'm just familiar with the Greenworks. But the Sunjoe, that you can take the cartridge out and put a verticutting option in, or you can put the scarifying option. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it comes with two cartridges. So it's got a scarifier and it's got, the typical kind of like, dethatcher with the tines.
Yeah.
So you can swap them out, and accomplish different tasks with them, which
That's
I
one of the
thought- I
things
thought
I
that
like
was
so
cool.
much about my Alette mower. I mean, it is the fact that you can, cartridges after cartridge, you can do different things different
Mhm.
times of the year. It's wonderful.
yeah.
It's expensive.
It'd be really cool if Sunjoe, if you're listening, come up with a brush attachment, a brush cartridge for that machine. And I think that would sell like hotcakes. Because I would use that because I got a big oak tree in my front yard. I would use a brush attachment like crazy cleaning up acorns because as it is, I got to go out there. I got to rake them all up. I mean, there's really no other way to get them out of there. I just got to go out there and hand rake my whole front yard, come middle of November, first couple weeks in November, I just go out there and I rake up my whole front yard and I'm getting like literally a whole bag, like one of those Home Depot yard bags that like my municipality, it's how we get rid of our grass clippings and leaves and stuff. I literally get a whole bag full of acorns. I mean, the thing ends up being like 150 pounds. But that a brush attachment for that machine, I think, would be an awesome thing.
So
What about-
that might be interesting to see if they could ever come up with something like that. I don't know.
Now on my Alette mower, there's this option on the front. It's like a metal comb type of thing that I can set high or low, and it'll actually comb the turf before I cut it. And I don't use it because it can get really aggressive very fast and really do some damage. But I was wondering, has anybody thought about putting something like that on the front of your rotary home mower? Because I see on golf course greens mowers or even tee mowers, they put brushes on the front before the brush will stand the grass up. But I know with a lot of you guys, we're not dealing with short cut turf. We're dealing with, grass that's 2 inches or 3 inches. But if you were to take some sort of a metal comb attachment, like almost like a hard rake, but with finer teeth, and put it in front of your rotary mower that has a self-propelled, so it kind of like will comb the turf before you cut it to kind of get any of the shit out of the way, or maybe stand some of that thatch layer up, some of that dead grass up a little bit. I didn't think about it until just now, but I've never seen a rotary mower with any of those types of attachments. Right? They're just standard cut the grass. There's no brushes, no any other implements that you could easily.
There's a video I saw not that long ago on TikTok where a guy just duct taped a broom to the edge of his rotary mower and was just driving around his lawn. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I thought it was pretty hilarious. But I haven't seen anything other than that.
Well, you could, so if you want to, let's say it like this. So if you are a person that has bluegrass or even ryegrass and you cut it at 2 inches or low, and you want to try to keep the dew off during certain times of the year, and you could put a 4-foot brush attachment on the front of your rotary mower, and you could just drive that around and you could brush the dew off in the morning, right? So instead of walking the broom, you could brush the dew off. So that could have been an option of something, a reason why you would do something like that.
I thought about that.
That's a good point.
Because you see those cool videos where it's like first thing in the morning and they're walking around. You can see them pulling the hose along and you can see the color change from when it has the dew on it. I thought, I can do that.
We do that.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily drag the dew off, but it's really a
it
lot
looks
of
cool.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But when your grass is like 3.5 inches tall fescue, I tried to pull my broom across to make like faux stripes in like November, so I can make some video out of it. And it is not easy pulling a broom, and you're like slightly like off, so your stripes just suck anyway. Like, oh man. I tried doing that, but I was like, nope, I'm not posting this.
Did you see Ecos that uses lawn leveling tool to knock the dew off and made his stripes by using a leveling tool? It's kind of cool.
But I think you gotta have shorter grass for it to look good.
Exactly, right. That's something I would do on my front yard. But the difficult part about this time of the year is you get a really heavy dew in the morning. So you go out and you cut your grass first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. You eradicate all that dew, but it's still going to set back in at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's going to reset back in. It's unfortunate, but that's the time of the year we are. So,
Dave, how is your front lawn doing? I haven't seen any updates on that for a while. How's it looking?
You're probably not going to see any pictures of it for a couple weeks. I'm working on something. So for Halloween. But as far as the spiking and overseeding goes, worked wonderful. I was a little concerned there for a while, but as I'm down and I cut it and I go out and I look at it and get down on my hands and knees and I look at it, there is a shit ton of new growth going on there. Bare spots, some of the bare spots are filling in. The bare spots that front left corner by the road and the driveway, that filled in. So I'm really thankful for that. Right along the main road, that filled in nuts. But right along the house, that's a difficult spot because legitimately my front yard pitch is 6 inches from the house to the street. 6 inches, and so that's quite a bit of pitch. So
do you really pitch 6 inches though?
Well, pretty fucking close, man. Pretty close.
That's about average.
Yeah, I'm very happy with, Mountain View Seeds, if you're out there, wonderful for them to have provided me the product and Pirina bentgrass. They provided me 5 pounds of that seed. Wonderful of them to do that. And it's just it's a beautiful turf, beautiful turf. And, I'm looking forward to next season to getting the verticutting attachment for my Kensington 20 and starting to verticut that. So I'm happy with it. But I don't think any of us are ever truly 100% satisfied with the way our turf looks. I mean, we'll look at it like, wow, that's good, but it could always be better, right? Always, So, we're going out and we're spending a little bit of money on whether it's chemicals or fertilizers or soil tests or a piece of equipment, whatever the next notch in the tool belt, it's going to help us get that piece of property looking a little bit better. So,
Dave, shout out your Instagram real quick, because I know that there's a lot of people in the chat, and then obviously people are going to catch this on the flip flop on the rewind, and they might not.
Turf God 52.
Yeah.
Hey, so it looks like I think it's Alex Carney.
Yeah, Turf
put
Guy
in the
52.
In the live chat that Turfmate had a clip on Instagram, a reel showing kind of what we were just actually talking about, the attachment on a rotary. It says it was posted on the September 27th. It's pretty cool, actually. I just put it in our website if anybody wants to bring it up. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Alex.
Yeah, I saw Wayne said something about some kind of a rake and strip.
I don't know how much longer we want to go here, but talking about equipment, I mean, the more money you have as an individual or as a golf course or as whatever business, and obviously the more toys you can have, the better pieces of equipment you can have, right? But there's nothing wrong with just a standard lawnmower and string trimmer. I mean, it's about the passion that you put into it, right?
Well,
So,
hey, hold up, Dave. I'd like to cut you off there because I don't know if anybody's from California.
Oh,
but I would like, before we end this show tonight, I'd like to talk about this real quick.
dang.
So can somebody elaborate on that, please? Because that's a very serious statement right there.
It's straight up.
Yep. No more gas powered equipment for sale in California. So what does that look like? I mean, obviously there's tons of companies that are coming out with really good battery operated equipment. I mean, I have the Ego trimmer, I have the Ego hedge trimmer, and for my uses as a homeowner, the string trimmer is awesome. I mean, that thing rips. So I love that. I love that Ego string trimmer. I think it's great. I don't have to worry about fuel to oil ratios or even, just one less thing I got to change oil on, depending on what kind of engine you got on your string trimmer. So I like mine, but there's obviously been a lot of movement in the battery operated lawnmower game over the last year or two. So where do we think that this is going to stack up? I mean, obviously it's going to, it says sales. I wonder, I'd like to see what the law actually says. If anybody in the live chat has read it or knows any more, I'd be interested to hear, or you guys, are they going to ban the use of, existing equipment, or is it that they're not going to sell anything new and let that stuff kind of become obsolete and phase out, over time? I mean, what is the impact going to be for the industry, for landscapers? I mean, homeowners too, but what is the impact going to be kind of like long ranging on landscapers, on golf courses, on parks, and on homeowners? I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like, I'd be curious to know, is it just on like homeowners or like either, the typical consumer, or does it also include, like you said, like landscapers? Because I mean, if you're going to be mowing all day, every day, the batteries, there's just not an option for you, I don't think, on the market that would last all day, every day.
Yeah, one of the articles I read was stating that it's going to impact like 62,000 small businesses. So I would have to assume it's everything.
So in other words, you'll just have a generator on your truck burning gas.
Yeah.
Where you
There
can
you
charge
go.
the battery and go mow.
Exactly.
No, they're going to make
Right.
that solar powered, Olee, or they're going to make it hydrogen powered and or natural gas
Mhm.
powered.
Well, and think about all the landscapers, how they start out, right? They usually have just a
sure.
push mower and then they'll get bigger. So, is this going to prevent those entrepreneurs from starting out and getting going? So,
Listen, the
Well-
fact of the matter is, if it's either a slow drip or you just got to cut it right off, right? And they decided to cut it right off. So, I mean, they usually lead the nation and or the world in the decisions that they make, whether it's whatever it is. California leads the way. It's coming. I mean, automated mowers and golf courses are coming. Within 20 years, the top 100 golf courses in America, most of their fairways and tees will be mowed by machines, but without people. No people.
We'll say Crazy About Grass is in the chat. He mows some of the baddest stripes I see on Instagram with a battery powered mower.
Mhm.
who's that?
Crazy About
Crazy about
Grass.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
talking like where he switches up his pattern every 3 days and you can't even see his previous pattern, which is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Allet's been jumping. They jumped into the battery operated game. I mean, I just saw Clint hopped in. What's up, buddy? He's got the battery operated Allet mower. I know there's a couple other people. I think Super TA. I don't remember if he's got an Allet. I don't remember if his is battery operated.
Yeah, I think he's got the 40-volt one.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and obviously Ego came out with a battery operated 0-turn. Toro is just announcing theirs this week at a different trade show. So I'm sure we'll see that next week at GIE. And obviously, a company as big as Toro, they clearly saw this coming. I'm sure that they have, all sorts of stakes in the game in terms of, lobbyists.
Toro's usually the
like that.
Mercedes-Benz of turf equipment.
Yeah, and exactly, and so I'm sure that they have
Mercedes-Benz leads the way in
lobbyists
autos,
and
and it
people
takes,
who are politically connected that knew this was coming, and obviously they've developed a big time product, right? That they're launching. So I mean that there are a lot of companies who are looking into like more of a commercial space with the battery operated stuff, and a lot of that stuff is launched last year, this year. So I
does anybody in here own a battery operated backpack blower or a handheld battery blower? And can anybody tell me how loud it is compared to a comparable petrol powered blower? What's the decibel difference on that?
Maybe in the live
So
chat,
I don't-
but I don't think anybody in here does. But
I used to have
I have
the
a- I have a
so I have a
40-volt
weed
one.
eater. Yeah.
I got a battery blower.
Yeah, same here.
Depends if I want
There's
to.
Backpack?
because in California there's a lot of rich
I mean,
people
they're loud.
don't want to hear the noise of the blowers. So if the battery powered blower or the battery powered mower is going to be less annoying with decibel meters, then that plays a huge factor in it. Besides the fact that there's less emissions going out, but now you're going to have all these things are going to take these little battery packs, right? We're all familiar with these battery packs, and you're going to have millions of them all over the place, right? And then who makes them? China.
Mhm.
So
I-
here's my take on it, and I think Crazy About Grass kind of said something is price of batteries, right? So he was saying like 40 batteries at $400 each. So we go to these battery powered things. We all have cell phones. We all recharge our cell phones daily. And how often how long do they last? A year, 2 years before that battery's pretty much shot. So now what do we do with that battery? We throw it away. We buy another one. So now we're creating waste, and we're having to repurchase batteries over and over again. And we're using electricity, and we're using coal and gas to charge up these batteries anyway. So, if it's a sound thing, sure, that's one thing. But if it's an environmental thing, doesn't make any sense. And for me, I don't want to have to keep buying a brand new battery, $400 every couple of years, when I've had the same gas powered mower for the last 8 years and haven't had to do anything except $10-20 general maintenance every winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to start having to pay crazy expensive battery stuff. So
The cost of batteries and then how long they last has always been like my hesitation. But I had the Ryobi expanded like 4-cycle weed eater where you could put a blower attachment on it. That's what I used before, and I felt like it didn't have the power that I wanted. So I bought the Toro's 60-volt electric one, and that works really well. I like it, but it is loud. You know, that whir, you know, it's high pitched and much louder, I feel like, than you know, at least the weed eater itself wasn't as high pitched of a sound anyway. But it works really well. It gets the job done. I like it. But then you get the things individually with the battery. So I have like 4 batteries now, but if I buy the batteries separate, they're like $150 a piece. So it's like I got to collect these batteries and hang on to them, because if you get it with the tool, it was like an extra $30 or something versus $150 for buying one by itself.
Where's the company you want to be in? The business you want to be in is battery recycle, right? You want to be in battery recycling.
Oh man, yeah.
Start it up now. Start your company.
But yeah, you figure all the cell phones out there and all the trash and the waste with all those batteries. This is just going to be the next wave of that, and it's going to get worse because every company is going to have their own battery. Right now, like Milwaukee and Ryobi and DeWalt, they all have their own different batteries. They're not universal, so you know.
Well, the thing is, they're probably all made in the same factory. They just slap on a different name and manufacture them.
Different shape plastic attachment. Yeah, that's true.
But with Duracell,
most of the rotary mowers are all made in like 2 factories, and they just put different things on them. And
yeah.
I mean, it's like that. It's like that with so many things. You know, everything's made in the same places.
And the unfortunate part about batteries, I don't know. I know my father lives in Florida, and he says car batteries in the heat don't last as long. They go up in a couple of years as opposed to a standard climate or even a northern climate. So what can be said about those types of batteries for all this handheld equipment? Are they not going to last as long in temperatures in Phoenix when it's 116 degrees? I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, that's kind of like a debate in itself. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the economics of the whole thing is crazy. I mean, right? Like we're all kind of like YouTube nerds. I'm sure everybody's watched Rich Rebuilds, right? The guy that, you know, started like hacking Teslas apart in his garage with a butter knife, and you know, now he's a big time YouTube guy, and you know, but he started the electrified garage, which is, you know, they're trying to service Teslas, and you know, he's done a whole bunch of videos of guys who've had their Teslas, you know, bricked and totaled out by Tesla, and they're like, oh yeah, you need a new battery. So I mean, the car's totaled, and you know, they've gone in and fixed stuff and swapped battery packs or swapped out cells and done a whole bunch of other things but you got to wonder what the individual consumer economics of a battery powered device, you know, really is. And I mean, I just stepped away for a second, but I was listening to you guys. I mean, and I think that, you know, when it comes down to the recycling of the batteries, you know, what's the longevity of the batteries, and then you know, is that equipment, or is, you know, we talked just a second ago, you mentioned it about the docking system, right? Like maybe all the batteries are made by one place, but the docking system is different tool to tool to tool. So it's like
Olee had a great point. How are you going to charge all those batteries? You have a truck that drives around and just has battery stations on it, and we need it over here on
911.
Get that generator out.
Legislators and the people who write the laws, they don't think about this stuff, you know, and that's where lobbyists come in. That's where, unfortunately, lobbying is always frowned upon. But it's situations like this where green industry needs lobbyists to tell these people, what are you doing? You're killing us over here with these, you know, but what are you going to do?
Olee would get about half
all the people that want battery operated lawn equipment are probably the same people that would say, well, you shouldn't have a lawn. You should just have clover.
I want the lawn, right?
Yo, when I think about battery equipment, I'm thinking more about like, hey, less maintenance. I'm not thinking about the environment, to be honest. I'm just not that I don't care about.
Let's not cheat ourselves here, right? Extracting that nickel from the ground and wherever it is not a pretty stuff, right? Not pretty. And it's only going to get worse because the whole world is going to be running on batteries in the next 20 or 30 years. So you go from one nasty thing to a next nasty thing, and that's just what we have right now. Nasty options.
And I was going to say that Olee would only be able to get about half his yard done before the batteries died. So
Yeah, no shit.
And I like the smell of high octane. That hurt my feelings.
Yeah, that's never coming to North Carolina. I don't think we have to worry about
It'll
that.
take a while. It'll take a while. Well, guys, it's 12 past the hour. How we doing? We got anything else to talk about?
There is a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about that I got Olee pictures of, but
Yeah.
I can save them.
Yeah, we'll do this again in the off season here
Mhm.
in North America.
Yeah, this was fun.
We're all winterized
cool.
and sipping hot chocolate. But,
I am
uh,
stoked.
include-
Next week, I get to meet everybody but Bill and Brian. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
stoked that I don't get to meet you guys. That bums me the fuck out. But I am pumped to
Yeah.
meet the rest of the cast.
yeah,
I'm excited for you guys to go and get to see each other and hang out and hit up some distilleries. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
so we're
pumped.
all going to be rolling into Louisville. We said it before. We're slated again, going to GIE. So if you're going, hit us all up. I know I'm getting there Tuesday night. So if anybody watching, anybody in the live chat, anybody's there Tuesday night, the rest of these guys I think aren't rolling until Wednesday. So I'm going to be there all by my lonesome. So if anybody wants to hang out, go grab some beers, get some wings. I'm down. I want to meet as many people as possible because everybody interacts, on Instagram, all
You
the
gonna have to
time.
keep off the
Everybody
grass
posts
shirt?
photos and throwing stuff
Yeah.
up and things like that. So,
Slide into Brent's DMs if you want to hang
That's
out
right.
Tuesday.
that's right.
Going down in the DM.
That's right. Yeah, we'll probably Jamie the accountant just said do some live Instagram live feeds. We'll probably be doing that. We'll do something.
yeah.
And, kind of
Yeah, Bill,
say what's up to everybody.
Brian, you guys can jump on. We'll plan something out where we can all get
Yeah.
on.
That would be fun. That would
I'll
be
be
cool
in-
to do.
I'll
Yep,
probably be in
absolutely.
Vegas, so we'll see what I can do.
Yep.
Hey, in Vegas.
And I want to throw
Yeah,
before we jump off, I want to throw a shout out to the Lawn Outfitters. Awesome new t-shirt company popping up. So definitely go check them out. I got myself this cool skeleton flamingo shirt and this rad hat from those guys. So definitely go give them a follow, the Lawn Outfitters, lawnoutfitters.com. They got some cool designs coming out. So, no plug. I paid for this stuff to support them. But awesome, just like lawn care design t-shirts, really creative, good graphic designs coming out, and
Second
good quality
coolest,
shirts too. So
second coolest to the KOTG merch site. So that's for sure. All right.
Good morning. What was that?
Days a week.
He was
Days a
taking us
week.
out.
Guys, it was really, I really had a good time tonight. I think I've been smiling the whole time. I really enjoyed it. There was probably a gazillion things we could have talked about different, but we talked about what we needed to talk about, and it was a really good time. So I had a wonderful time. It was a pleasure to be on, and maybe we'll do it again someday.
Awesome.
Hell
We
yeah.
got-
Oh,
Yeah.
Yard Obsession just jumped
Yep.
in the live
Yeah.
chat.
Yep.
Congrats, Yard Obsession.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Congrats, bro.
Shoot the KOTG Instagram account a message
Put the picture back up.
with what MPK you want from Pro Pete, as well as your address.
Put the picture back up.
We'll do that.
Hey, and speaking of Pro Pete, I'm headed there the beginning of November. I'm gonna be there November 5th. Talk to John. I'm gonna do a little tour of the facility. So maybe I'll do an Instagram live or something from there. Get everybody involved. But
Do an episode right then.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
awesome. So check it out November 5th, Friday.
All right. Cool, Brian. I like that.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank
night.
you guys.
What's next week?
GIE.
GIE.
E.
All right.
Who's on next week?
All of us.
Well,
well, next
we're
Tuesday.
all
I don't
gonna
know what
be-
we're doing next Tuesday, but
we're all gonna be packing.
Yeah.
we might be off next Tuesday.
Being on
but-
everybody's bedrooms packing.
We'll be at GIE.
But
GIE.
Clothes, packing clothes.
And we'll be recording a show. I don't know if we'll have the technology in place to be able to stream it live. Plus, it's going to be at 9 a.m. on Friday at the Barenbrug booth.
and
But
we're
we'll
gonna have
definitely
masks. Mask on. We won't be able to hear shit.
Yeah, we'll definitely be recording something, and we'll kind of see how all that works out. As
you guys will get some cool
masks.
footage, I'm sure.
masks at
For sure.
the show and stuff like that. But we're gonna see what we can do.
Keep an eye on the KOTG Instagram page and YouTube page next week and see what happens.
All right. Love you
Excellent.
guys. Love you, Bill.
Thank you.
By the way.
Peace.
Excellent job on the-